have an absolutely epic May 2025 Bend market update here for you. Going to start off with a macroeconomic chart, specifically looking at the stock market, which has been a topic of conversation, and rightfully so, for many people here over the last month. We saw that big dip in stocks here, and then we have recently seen it rebound right back up. The reason we bring this up is the stock market's often a strong indicator of growth, mindset within the real estate market. So to see that dip happen and then see a rebound is oftentimes going to indicate a good thing for the market here moving forward. One other piece of info to tie into this is the VIX, or the fear gauge. So how fearful are investors here in the economy? We touched on this in our last market update. As we can see here, we had that big spike, tariff announcements, other uncertainty, and that was all part of the ball game. And one thing we did say is that we usually see a pretty quick recovery from that high spike of fear. We have seen that, and hence kind of everything coming back to where we want it to be. While all of that info is super interesting, the thing we also want to touch on is a recession and what that could or could not mean. And the first thing to mention is a recession does not necessarily mean falling home prices. As we can see here, with the last 6 recessions, 4 out of the 6 we actually saw prices go up, so decent appreciation here. That's 6%, 3.5%, 6%, and 6% level. In only 2 years, I'm actually seeing home prices fall. Moving forward, though, we're seeing that recessions often, though, do mean that interest rates do come down. So every recession here, the same 6 that we just looked at, note it that we saw interest rates overall drop. So big thing to keep in mind as we move forward, if we see rates drop enough, that can completely change the market for us. There's still a lot of pent-up demand. So if we do have this happen, just stay tuned, as we could move into more multiple offer situations, which is a much, much hotter market overall. Looking at mortgage rates in our 5-year chart, one thing we'll touch on at the end of the update today is that it has been volatile. Overall, we're seeing the trend line coming down. What I talked about in that last chart as far as recession meaning falling interest rates, if we do get those rates to drop down to that 6% mark around there or even below, again, I mentioned that would really, in most cases, heat up the market significantly. So just something to be aware of as a buyer as we move forward. So getting into our local numbers, and some big numbers to share with you here. We are now at $832,000 for our median price in Bend. This is a new record, up 10% month over month. 23 median days on market, almost a 40% drop here. So that goes along with the spring season. We're seeing homes moving quicker, more sold homes, that is, and then 146 total closings with 4 months of inventory, which is up 25%, and one of the higher inventory numbers we've seen over the last 3 or 4 years. In terms of MLS data for Bend, so these are homes that have not sold as of yet. We've got 728 total listings, which is a big number, hence that inventory jumping up to 4 months, up almost 20%. 47 median days on market, which has dropped again significantly, over 10%. 316 listings with a change price, and then that average change from original price is down about 4.75%. Moving forward to those numbers specifically, so median price in thousands. I mentioned the $832,000 is a new record for Bend, as we can see here looking back. Now, the big question with that is it truly a new record? Are homes really going for that much more, or are we selling kind of more in that $1, $2, $3 million mark? Well, a lot of those transactions have been $1 million or more. What I'm going to show you next is the median price per square foot, showing $411 per square foot. So yes, we are pumping up here. Prices are going up a bit as we head into spring, showing a relatively strong market, especially when you consider all the uncertainty that we've been through and continue to go through. In terms of inventory, I mentioned the 4 months of inventory being one of the higher numbers we've had over the last 3 or so years in Central Oregon. As we look back, we've kind of roller coastered between the 1 and 2 months for an extended period of time. Popped up to 4 last summer, and then as we can see, we're right back there now. So if you are a buyer, there is a fair amount to look at relative to previous years. So great time to get out and see some properties. In terms of days on market for sold properties, we mentioned the 23 here. This is that seasonal roller coaster trend, as we can see in past winters, going up to 51, 43, 40, 51, and 53 days on market. But each time here, as we head into spring and summer, we see those days on market drop, and that's again classic seasonality here in Central Oregon. In terms of number of sales, again another seasonal piece. We dipped down to 94 here in February 25, up to 146 in April, again showing that growth that I've been talking about. One other important graph here I want to look at is cash versus finance transactions. As we can see here, cash transactions pumped up considerably in April, up to 50. So that means about a third of our transactions in Bend have been all cash. Again, so that whether that's people coming in from out of state, selling their homes in their market, and then bringing that cash here, or maybe even some people who have owned homes for a while in Central Oregon have been able to cash out on all their equity growth. So we are seeing a good chunk of transactions being all cash. So just something to be aware of as a buyer. If you are financing, doesn't put you out of the game. Just again, considering if you do love a property, how are you going to write an offer, the strategy you're going to use, just be aware that that is happening here. The bottom line, volatility equals opportunity. So a lot of people are still uncertain. Rates are still high, prices are still high and going higher, which is putting a lot of people on their heels, especially on the buy side. Selling too, right? If we're not priced well, if our strategy is off, that can make things difficult, make people kind of a little bit nervous in terms of how they're going to sell or if they're going to sell. So if you're willing to take the bull by the horns, develop the right strategy, you really can take advantage of the uncertainty and the volatility that's going on. The tale of two markets, so mixed signals. The reason we're mentioning that is about 38% of the listings this year in Bend are projected not to sell. So a lot of people are like, wait a minute, 38% of the homes aren't selling, but home prices are going up, sales are going up. It really is a mixed bag. So our message there is that listings that do sell need to be best quality and best price. You may need to have features that other homes don't. If you don't, you need to, accommodate that in price to get your home sold quick. So just remember, if you are selling best quality and price, ideally those two put together are going to produce the best outcome. And what I do want to say as a buyer, you need to really treat every property on a case-by-case basis. How many days on market? What are the upgrades? What are the features? Do you have other buyers interested? And that's where it's really going to be important that you hire an experienced agent, an agent that has a good, strong team around them to help you sort through all of the noise this spring. So myself, any other agent on Bend Relo, always happy to have a conversation with you, answer any questions that you may have. Hope you have a wonderful month here of May, and we'll look forward to seeing you back in June for the next market update.